So many years ago, when I was with the Sufis, um, I remember the big thing about the whole period of my life was that it was quite a confusing time. I didn't seem to understand what was going on. What compounded my confusion and my general, lack of understanding was that there were people around me who seemed to just know what was going on. I mean, they had the right phrases, they had the right terminology and language, and they sounded absolutely brilliant. I suppose another term for those people now would be advanced seekers. After obviously, as I've progressed on my journey, and it's kind of led me to want to do this video on basically going easy on yourself, because I'm seeing this right now in the talks that I do. There are certain people who come in and they're complete superstars. They know what you're talking about and what have you, and invariably there's always that one person in the room who's kind of sitting there quietly looking a bit lost and a bit confused, who probably doesn't understand why they're always coming to this talk month in, month out, and wondering if they're really making progress. And that was something that was occurring to me when I was with the Sufis for about 8 years or so. I couldn't make sense of it, and I wish somebody had turned around to me at that point and just said, "You just need to go easy on yourself, because you're on your journey and they are on their journey." And it's not necessarily the case that just because that person acts right and sounds right and looks right, they may know more than you. They could quite easily be just as confused, as lost as you, however, are in a sense kind of styling out and you're not. So it's important for yourself to go easy on yourself and to be patient with what's going on, and to trust the process. There does seem to be this over emphasis now on events, and that compounds the problem, because people are now just walking in and in a sense kind of barking, "I want to be awakened, I want to be awakened, I want to be awakened," without really having a true understanding of what awakening is, really understanding what's involved, what's going to happen. Because then what happens is, when you further examine the ideas and this whole desire for wanting to be awake with this person, what you find is 9 times out of 10 they don't really want to be awakened. But for some strange reason, and I don't really feel that this is something that can be kind of like thrown at the teachers, I feel there's this misunderstanding that somehow awakening is a cure-all for everything, and it's not necessarily the case. However, it's amazing how people believe it is. So people are rushing in, thinking that if I learn the right language and I look a certain way or I talk a certain way, that somehow I'm progressing. Sometimes there isn't really progress going on there. You've just learned some words. You've learned a way of being. And it's incredible when you see these people at talks, because they look so right and they sound so right and what have you. And they do look like they're really in charge of things. I mean, I jokingly say most people who come to my talks could quite easily do a better talk than me, because no doubt they've read I Am That, or read the works of Ramana Maharishi, or they've read everything by Rumi or Hafiz, or what have you. But it's incredible, upon closer examination, most of these people tend to fold and don't really know. It's very easy to, kind of in a sense perfect that looking off into the distance look, and knowing that you know so much. I mean, I had a classic example of a woman who came to one of my talks recently, and I decided to go for a break, and somebody decides to take my seat, which I found absolutely hilarious. So here was this person, attempting to try to explain reality, and was kind of in a sense rounded up on the crowd. So it was a very interesting dynamic to watch. But what was really interesting was there was this one particular person who decided to really have a go at this poor guy who's obviously trying to explain stuff. So I asked her to sit in the seat that I was sitting in and continue with the talk, and it was incredible how she just collapsed. But what was amazing was when she walked in, she looked the part, she sounded the part, she looked mysteriously off into the distance, and what have you. And even I was like, wow, we've got a live one here. But it's incredible how somebody who's confused, who comes into a talk and sees this kind of behavior, will probably just think, well, I probably won't get awakened. I probably won't be able to do anything, because I really haven't got an idea. But there's a very famous saying in the Sufi tradition that the farmer has a better chance of finding God than the scholar, because sometimes everything that you do know is really, in a sense, kind of constricting you, because ultimately the last knowledge, the last veil to fall is that veil of knowledge. So a lot of these people who may be looking really amazing and intimidating the hell out of you, at a talk, because I know that the 8 years that I was with the Sufis, there were some incredible characters there who would tell me some incredible stories, and I would just be sitting there all lost and confused. The funny thing is, when I've gone back, they're still there, waxing lyrical, but haven't moved. So go easy on yourself. Yes, there will be people who will come in and they will have awakenings, or they will have a better handle of it than you will. But as I said recently at the talk I did in Watkins, I think the thing that really changed was I got honest with myself. And a lot of these people, as much as they look the part and act the part and what have you, these so-called advanced seekers, whatever that actually means, tend to be just as lost and confused. It's just they're starting out better. So if you're that person sitting there in the corner thinking, well, I don't get this, I'm coming in and all these people are waking up and they sound right and I don't worry, be easy on yourself, go easy on yourself, because if I can remember rightly, I was very, very confused for a lot of times and tried to walk out and what have you. But if there's one thing I'm glad I did, was I persisted and I was honest with myself. And that honesty, what you'll find, is so much more precious and probably so much more effective in helping you realize what you are than having the right words or the right place or having the right pedigree.